Coming up in this episode, can this player apply enough speed to reduce his road rash, or will it clear up by itself? In a kickboxing battle of the siblings, who will end up with a face full of foot? Can a champion darts player apply his skills to heaving heavy hatchets at bundles of hair, or will he be busted before bowing out? And can Dominic Diamond manage an introduction without an innuendo?
Welcome to the Games Master Retrospective, where we take a nostalgic nosedive through episodic exploration into the series that showcased the best and worst of gaming's golden era.
It appears he can! However, Dom from 1992 has slightly more trouble with the task at hand, and delivers what might be the most egregious addition to the ongoing Dominic innuendo counter of the series so far.
Lovely, thank you. Hello and welcome to Games Master. If you're tuning in for the first time, where have you been? But my, how tall you're getting. You're 4 weeks late, but we've all taken turns keeping the slot warm for your arrival. So sit yourself down, have a mug of chamomile, get out your joystick and give it a loving caress, because that's what we...
Bloody hell, Dominic!
Greetings. I'm delighted that you've chosen to join me again here at the fertile fount of game-playing challenges. We begin tonight with a truly anarchic escapade on a game called Road Rash.
Road Rash was released in 1991 by Electronic Arts on the Sega Mega Drive, Master System, Game Gear, and Amiga. Not to be confused with the other Road Rash that was released in 1994 on 3DO, Sega CD, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and PC. Phew! Our motorcycle-mounted marauders take part in a number of illegal street races across the state of California, speeding across levels in an attempt to secure first place while assaulting opponents with their fists, feet, or clubs. The game stood out with its stylized street racing, gritty visuals, and heavy metal-inspired soundtrack, as well as the ability to upgrade and purchase new bikes, spawning multiple sequels like Road Rash 2, 3, and Road Rash 3D, 64, Jailbreak, and Road Rash? Again? Naming issues aside, the series created a legacy of anarchic speed and retro rebellion, because who needs rules when you're swinging a lead pipe, eh?
You'll be taking part in a frightful, unofficial motorbike race, in which hot-headed youths punch and kick their way to the checkered flag at speeds of over 150 miles per hour. The challenge is to come first on the Redwood Forest stage. I'm afraid to say that amidst this rowdy rebel, he will need to ride with Beelzebub at your wheels.
And riding pillion with me in the pulpit, no stranger to leathers himself, is Sega Power's Neil West. Welcome, Neil.
Thanks, Dominic.
Our first contestant is Richard Wiltshire from Dartford, dressed in what appears to be Jinko jeans and an unironically ugly Christmas jumper. He's not familiar with Road Rash, but is proficient with another popular bike racer from that time.
Yep, I've played Super Hang on the Amiga, and that's a good racing game, and I enjoyed that. I'm good at that, so I reckon I can handle this.
Super Hang-On was a 1987 arcade racing sim developed by Sega and ported to the ZX Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64, Mega Drive, Amiga, Atari ST, Mac, and DOS. A sequel to 1985's Hang-On, players leaned into hairpin turns, boosting speed to beat the clock. While the arcade original used a motion-controlled bike cabinet, the console versions traded gimmicks for tight controls and vibrant visuals. Its synth-heavy soundtrack and breakneck pace made it a retro racing must-have, an 80s arcade staple, minus the costing coins.
Okay, now in this game you've got a kick punch, generally get a bit dirty. Can you handle that?
Well, I think so. On Super Hang on, there was a cheat mode where you used a machine gun, but I've never used my bare fist before.
Richard is off to a flying start and begins dispatching the other racers with ease, dipping and diving like a spawning salmon fighting its way upstream.
He's fighting pretty rough. Is Sid going to be a problem to him?
Sid shouldn't be a problem. The guy to watch out for is a guy called Biff. He's got a baseball bat.
Right.
He'll do his best to swing at you with it, but the trick
Oh my
a little
word.
bit of air there. Not
Sid
bad
just
at all.
launched it. Oh, one of them.
Just did the business.
Oh, he's losing a car in front. Oh, he just managed to dodge that one.
You do not want to go into the back of a car. It's bad news.
However, as Neil almost predicted, a head-on collision with a car knocks him back significantly. Will he be able to make up for lost time?
There's two in front of him there, actually. Could be coming up in a second here.
There's one.
He's up there. He's coming in a second place. Could he come in first place? Oh, just let it fly.
Sadly, Rich comes second, which might be preferable in certain situations, but isn't going to win him a golden joystick.
It was a very, very close race. 1.6 seconds between you and the eventual leader, Viper. What went wrong for you?
But obviously the crash, I had no time to practice my green cross code as I went through the intersection. I just go flat out to win. I was unlucky there was a car coming at the same time.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we can't offer you our prize, but have you enjoyed coming to play Games
Oh, it's been a
Master?
great laugh.
Well, we've enjoyed seeing you streak through the forest, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, our gallant loser, Richard Wiltshire.
I've opted for a game by the name of Panzer Kickboxing.
Panzer Kickboxing, released in 1991 for the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS by French developer Logiciel, was a niche martial arts game mixing kickboxing combat with a gritty pseudo-3D aesthetic. Players brawled across global tournaments, but unresponsive controls and stiff animations left it overshadowed by rivals like Street Fighter II. These days, its legacy is minimal, a curious footnote in early 90s fighting games, remembered only by retro enthusiasts for its Eurotrash charm and awkwardly earnest punch-ups.
In this rather lax interpretation of the Queensberry rules, one seems to be allowed to kick as well as to punch. I should stress that I nonetheless require an exemplary display of gamesmanship. May the best man win.
And joining me at the ringside pulpit is Tim Boone from Computer and Video Games Magazine. Tim, welcome.
Hello, Dominic.
Now, Tim, what kind of a fight are we going to see here tonight?
I think I'd be very surprised if we don't see a very dirty fight. Panzer Kickboxing is all about, basically, there are very few rules. You really go for it. You can punch your opponent, kick your opponent, and if it helps you at all, you can even try biting them. Right. I mean, there are very few rules here.
The contestants for this second challenge are siblings Jason and Lisa Posel. Jason is confident he's going to win, but when asked if she's going to fight dirty, Lisa is cold as ice.
But it's not going to be that dirty because I'm going to win anyway.
Okay, well, we've got two very confident competitors here. If you'd like to take your seats and begin to fight.
As the kids launch into the first round of combat, it looks like playtime's over, cheered on by Mum from the audience.
Oh no, but she takes another tumble and she's down to 1.5 lights. Jason is on 3 lights, so he's quite a bit ahead now.
Yep.
Oh, and Lisa's down again. What advice can you give to Lisa at this stage?
The advice to Lisa is use more kicks. She's trying to go in with her fist, but of course Jason's got the advantage. You've got the advantage of reach with his legs.
We have no clear winner by the time the first buzzer sounds, but it looks like Jason is slightly ahead on points.
So it's the final round and they're on 2 lights each, so it's all even now. Everything to play for.
We're looking for one knockout blow from one of the contestants now. One kick or one punch could sort this and decide it completely.
Lisa goes straight on the offensive as the final round begins. It's a close one, but Lisa gets the final blow and wins the challenge.
And I think that Lisa has won!
Jason is at least gracious in defeat, and Lisa seems more shocked than anything else. But a winner is her, and she walks away with a golden joystick.
This week it's fantasy role-playing games. First up, return to the time when dinosaurs ruled the earth and Mars bars were only 10p in Shadow of the Beast.
Lovely graphics, nice backgrounds, nice animation, but the gameplay sucks a bit, and after a while you just get a bit jarred off.
Looks good, plays fast, but doesn't offer anything new in the final analysis.
It's a bit of a disappointment. It's got a big name, but not the gameplay to back it up.
Next up, on the Amiga, become a deity for a day and rub shoulders with gods from Zeus to Priapus in Populous 2.
It's great to see how the races build and conquer, and you really do sort of care for these little sprites as they're running around.
It's one of those games, you think 5 minutes has passed and it's 4 hours. You really just get absorbed into the game.
Lots of brilliant graphics, brilliant gameplay, one of the best games around.
Populous 2, The Trial of the Olympian Gods, was developed by Bullfrog Productions and released in 1991 for the Amiga, DOS, Mac, SNES, and as Two Tribes Populous 2 on the Mega Drive for some reason. A sequel to the groundbreaking Populous, players controlled one of the many offspring of Zeus as they ascended the celestial ladder, hoping to topple their father from his Olympian throne. It introduced new game modes and 21 additional powers to be wielded against the followers of your demigod siblings, including Deadly Fungus, Thunderbolt, and Lightning. Bullfrog later crafted classics like Dungeon Keeper and Theme Park, which itself went on to launch the entire park sim subgenre. Populous remains a titan of 90s innovation, a blueprint for future god sims, proving even gods love a little pixelated chaos.
Finally, on the PC, a medieval romp around ye olde merry England in King's Quest V.
It's not pushing back the boundaries, looks good, but it's a bit too cute for my liking.
It's so American and apple pie that you just want to vomit every time you load it up. There's no sex, no violence, and absolutely no fun, I'm afraid.
Mario!
He's back.
And now for this week's feature. The battle for the British console market is fiercer than ever, with Nintendo and Sega locked in a multi-million-pound advertising war. Sega marketing supremo Philip Ray had a wee chat with us about Sega's battle plan.
In a segment which definitely isn't an ad for Sega in general, we have Sega marketing director Philip Lay talking about the differences between theirs and Nintendo's approaches to advertising. And Philip makes a point of mentioning a specific cool dude with attitude as a key weapon in the game system skirmish.
If any one man is responsible for the street cred appeal of Sega's hardware, it has to be Jimmy, the swarthy game-playing star of Sega's campaign.
Well, can't play Super Monaco all day long. Not unless you have one of them.
Peter Wingfield is a Welsh actor, known for his roles as the immortal Mythos in Highlander the series, and Dr. Dan Clifford in Holby City, amongst dozens of others. A classically trained performer, he brings Shakespearean gravitas to sci-fi silliness, guest starring in cult shows like The Outer Limits, Charmed, and Stargate SG-1. Though never a household name, his nuanced genre-hopping career made him a 90s TV staple. A quietly iconic figure in both sword-swinging fantasy and scalpers and drama medical soaps. Oh, and as sharper than a cyber razor-cut Jimmy, of course.
Jimmy's creators were hopelessly wrong with their early ideas of how a game-playing hero should look.
It was horrifying, because we got it so horribly wrong. Our character was long-haired, rough, a bit dirty, and all the kids came back saying that they thought that sort of person was a bit of a granddad, really.
Who'd have thought people would prefer a sexy young dude over a hobo living in a van? Kids those days, eh?
I hope you weren't put off by the rather violent nature of my first challenge, as I'm sorry to say my second offering is also not in terribly good taste. It's taken from a game called Heimdall, and is set in the drunken atmosphere of a Viking tavern.
Heimdall was released in 1991 by British studio The Eighth Day on the Amiga, Atari ST, DOS, and Mega CD. Players navigate their way through an adventure in Norse mythology as the titular Heimdall, avoiding traps and completing trials in order to avert Ragnarok. The axe-throwing minigame in this next challenge was likely inspired by a scene from the 1989 film Eric the Viking, which itself was inspired by 1958's The Vikings. A forgotten pioneer of 90s Eurogaming, it's now a retro darling, proof that even Viking sagas could thrive in pixelated obscurity.
You have 2 minutes in which to throw an unlimited number of axes to sever the maiden's 8 blades and save her from the bawdy Vikings. But beware, because you're somewhat sozzled. The cursor is extremely volatile, so you'll need to muster all your wits to release the axe at the correct moment. Good luck, young man. A fair maiden's honor is resting on your aim.
Joining me in the pulpit hockey is our very own resident expert, Dave Perry. Dave, welcome. Hi.
Dave Perry is a man of many talents, having helped mould the Games Master show into the format we see before us. He had many roles behind the scenes, as well as coming up with the most fantastically phallic prize in existence, the Games Master Golden Joystick. In addition to commentating, Dave also played the monk in the first series of the program, and will appear on the show regularly as we make our way through this episodic exploration. Alongside Games Master, Dave would become a regular on Games World, as well as launching several gaming magazines such as Play, Power Station, and Mega Power. These days, he runs his own tattoo parlor in Devon, but the game animal is still willing to chat about his time in the gaming industry, no matter the topic.
Now, the competitor on this challenge requires a steady throwing arm and bags of confidence. Who better than the greatest darts player in the history of the game, 5-time world champion, Eric Bristow?
Eric Bristow, nicknamed the Crafty Cockney, was a darts legend who dominated the sport in the 1980s. He won 5 world championships between 1980 and 1986, and spearheaded darts' rise from pub pastime to televised spectacle. Awarded the MBE in 1989 for services to sport, his flamboyant style and rivalry with Phil Taylor inspired generations. He sadly died of a heart attack aged 60 while attending a Premier League darts event in Liverpool. A founding figure of modern professional darts, his legacy endures as the original superstar of the hockey.
Now, Eric, you've come out with a good few 9-dart finishes in your time, but you're playing with a different set of arrows tonight. How confident do you feel?
That's a different game. I've had a practice at it, but I'm not brilliant at it. But I'm looking forward to it. It's different, isn't it?
Are you ready, Eric?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, order please. Game on.
Eric starts off by accidentally hitting the poor Viking lass right in the face. Not once, but twice, which prompts Dom to say the following.
So 2 wallops in the head just to show who's boss.
Why is this notable? Well, it earned Games Master its very first set of serious complaints, leading to the show being featured on Right to Reply. Right to Reply was a pioneering Channel 4 show that ran from 1982 to 2001. The show's format let viewers critique the network's programs via letters and calls, airing debates between audiences and producers. Notable for fiery clashes like outcry over live shows' controversial segments and critiques of ongoing drama's gritty storylines, it became a cultural lightning rod, amplifying public fury over media ethics and taste, and epitomizing Channel 4's commitment to viewer dialogue, even when it got messy. From the book Games Master: An Oral History, Dominic has this to say of the incident.
Going on Right to Reply was my first TV achievement. It was like a badge of honour. Even though I felt I was this twee character on the show, the words I was saying were getting us in trouble, which felt a bit more in line with what I wanted from my life and who I really was. That said, while I defended a lot of the Games Master content to this day, the Heimdall comments that popped our Right to Reply cherry were actually pretty bad.
It just goes to show that no matter what you say in the past, there's no need to lose your head over it. Despite a slow start, Eric soon makes a comeback, getting a triple cut in quick succession. It's not long before he's down to 1 braid with 10 seconds left, but can he check out before he clocks out?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He throws it. Oh, he's just out of time.
Sadly not. Eric is busted on the final braid, and in true bullseye fashion...
Okay, well now, listen, Eric, as Jim Bowen would say, you're a lovely smashing bloke, but here's what you would have won.
Bullseye was a British game show that ran from 1981 to 1995 on ITV, with a short-lived revival in 2006. The show blended trivia and bonkers prizes, think speedboats and tacky trophies, with occasionally impressive dart skills. Hosted by Jim Bowen along with animated mascot Bully, its campy charm and catchphrases like "Look what you could have won" made it an 80s TV staple. Nostalgically known for its naff rewards, it's a charming emblem of pre-reality TV entertainment.
Our brilliant Games Master Golden Joystick. But unfortunately, that's the one of the darts and it has to go back. But Eric, have you enjoyed yourself?
I've had a great time, yeah. It's been a bit of fun.
We've really enjoyed watching you. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Bristow!
Hello, Games Master.
Welcome to my kingdom.
I keep running out of lives on Disney's DuckTales. Is there any way I could get any more?
DuckTales! Awoo! Was released in 1989 on the NES by Capcom, based on Disney's treasure hunting cartoon starring Scrooge McDuck. Players bounced around levels on McDuck's pogo cane through globe-trotting locales, including the Moon Stage with its legendary chiptune Anthem by Hiroshiga Tsunomura. Ported to Game Boy and remastered in 2013, it redefined licensed games with tight controls and creativity. A timeless classic that proved that cartoons could jump from TV to consoles without face planting in a pile of coins.
Still languishing behind on DuckTales? Oh dear, you are in need of help. Now please listen very carefully. If you visit the African mines...
Thanks very much. Bye.
I'm delighted to help. Are we ready for the next?
Hello, Games Master. The eyeball monster at the end of level 2 in Altered Beast keeps on killing me. How can I destroy it?
Altered Beast was released in 1988 to arcades, before being ported to the Mega Drive that same year as the console's first pack-in title. Players arose from their graves as a muscle-bound warrior, morphing into beasts like the werewolf via power-up orbs, and punching through most of Greek mythology to rescue one of Zeus's many daughters. Following its success on the Mega Drive, it was ported to pretty much every other system available, including the Amiga, Atari ST, DOS, Master System, Famicom, and Commodore 64. Though overshadowed by later Mega Drive classics, its role in the console's debut cemented its legendary status and allowed early adopters to release the beast inside.
I must say, I'm rather surprised you haven't managed to dispose of this ocular ogre yet. All that's required is a little courage and nerve. Simply get as close to the monster as possible, then activate your force field. The eyeball monster will then be out of sight, out of mind.
Thanks, bye.
Who's next up, I wonder?
Hello.
Hello, and nice to see you. Now, what can I do for you?
I have been trying for hours, but I cannot kill the wart in Mario 2.
Super Mario Bros. 2, released by Nintendo on the NES in 1988, not to be confused with Super Mario Bros. 2 released on the Famicom in 1986, immediately differentiated itself from its predecessor by letting players choose from Mario, Luigi, Toad, or Princess Toadstool. Each character brought unique skills to the table, like the Princess's Float or Luigi's High Jump. Its vegetable plucking, enemy throwing gameplay introduced staples like Shy Guys and Bob-ombs, who are now franchise icons. Though a radical departure from the first game, its creativity birthed mechanics and characters that are still used today, proving that Mario's world could evolve beyond running and jumping. There, I managed to talk about Super Mario 2 without mentioning Doki Doki Panic once. Bugger.
Simple, dear boy. Catch the vegetables which come out of the pots and throw them at Wart. 6 vegetables in his mouth will get Peter.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Right. I think that's probably enough advice for 1 week, but if you have any queries, you know where to come.
Time has run out on this week's Games Master. But never mind, the Nettle Tea's brewed up a treat. I'm off to quaff, and I'll see you next week at the same time. Good night.
First and foremost, I have to say an enormous, gigantic, monolithic thank you to the one and only Dominic Diamond for agreeing to provide his dulcet tones to this episode. So, thank you. And so we speed across the finish line of our 4th episode, avoiding clubs and axes alike. Which was your favourite game featured here, and why was it Road Rash? Please let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give it a like. And if you want to follow along with the rest of this deep dive into Games Master, perhaps hitting the subscribe button. But maybe not with an axe. And as always, remember, don't be a dick.